A year ago, the industry came together to discuss the Triple Glazing Question. More than 600 people from out the UK came to Coventry Ricoh Arena to discuss the technical challenges that Triple Glazing brought to our industry. 1 year on, we're back today to discuss whether those challenges have been achieved and how we go forward and how the industry has changed over the past year. I'm joined today by a panel of experts. To my right, I have Ian Sims, Managing Director of Double R. I have Giles Willson, the CEO and Director for Technical Affairs at the Glass and Glazing Federation. On my left-hand side, I have Patrick Firminger, Marketing Director at TrueFrame. I have Mark Schlotel, Head of Marketing at Synseal Extrusions. And finally, but not least, Tony Smith, UK Business Development Manager at NSG Pilkington.
Can I just make a point on behalf of the massive 700 IGU manufacturers of all different shapes and sizes? And Tony said earlier that we need to embrace triple glazing because that's the best thing forward in the short to medium term, and that's great. And if triple glazing from an IGU manufacturing point of view is an opportunity for us to gain value added, then that's absolutely fantastic. I'm yet to be convinced that the market is going that will go that way, to be quite honest. But it brings massive problems for an IGU manufacturer. Yeah. We've just invested in what will be the first high-speed triple glaze line, which will be installed later in this year. But even if you take that part of it aside, just the whole processing of a triple glaze unit through your factory is far more complex than it is a double glaze. And I think the 700 IGU manufacturers may drop way down if triple glaze becomes the norm, because they just won't be able to cope with the complexities of putting three bits of glass through your factory at the same time, because it's far more complex than people think it is.
It's fine, absolutely. The process control required for a triple glazed unit is huge in comparison to double glazed. Generally obviously the middle pane will be toughened or tempered. So if you've got an annealed unit, you have to bring two pieces of annealed piece of glass together with a piece of toughened glass which has gone to the opposite side of the factory and sequence it in the right order to put down your very nice new line that you'll have in later on this year.
You process triple glaze separately to double glaze because that's the only way that you can work in what a conventional processing method, stock trolleys and things like that. They're geared up to take double glaze, not triple glaze. So your yield is worse.
Yeah, but you must have some confidence in, because you are the first with a high speed. So you must have some confidence there.
I just don't know what I'm doing, I think, today.
No, I don't believe that.
But I mean, it's not just us. For you, Patrick, the weight issues with delivering triple glaze glazed frames.
I mean, a year ago there was this big concern about the weight for operational for 10 years. It's the lifetime of the product and the period it's guaranteed for. With a triple glaze unit, your standard sash, with your standard hinges, is it going to be able to cope? And we did our own research internally, with the hinges and such that we use. And we actually found that the stuff we were using was actually, there can be a lot of scaremongering based on nothing at all, no factual evidence whatsoever. And that's kind of what we found. We found that actually the hinges we use are fine. When you get a certain size, you have very, very big side openers and such. Yes, but there's products out there now, like for example the one we take, the Trojan Mega Egress hinge. Yes. And it does what it needs to for those big particular units. But for the logistics side of it, it weighs that extra amount, it's taking the same amount of space, and that's a logistical issue. But we got around that by making sure that we have 18-ton vehicles, so we don't have a problem.
So at the triple glazing event last year, there was quite a lot of conversation about whether triple glazing will actually push forward more or better double glazing to meet the A+ and A++ than it did to promote triple glazing. So based on what I've heard today, that's exactly what it's doing. If Ian is telling me that only 4% of what he's doing today is triple glazing, I'm guessing if I ask the same question of clever double glazing, are you selling more clever double glazing now than you were this time last year?
I didn't know you were going to ask me that question, otherwise I'd have probably checked that out. I would suspect not, to be honest. I think the issue is that none of us really know how the market's going to go, because we don't know what's driven it to this point. From an IGU manufacturer, if we can make clever double glazing, I would be thrilled to bits. We have just invested in a high-speed line, but it will do double glazing very fast as well, so I'm happy about that. If triple glazing is the answer, then we'll embrace it the same as everybody around this table will embrace it. But no, I don't think we are selling. We are getting probably more inquiries for clever double glazing, but costs are making it prohibitive, I think.
Andy, perhaps I could just help very quickly on that. I think the answer is yes. The promotion of triple glazing is definitely driving a requirement for the smart or the improved double glazing. But again, I come back to what I've said before. We are reaching, the end in terms of the laws of physics. We have a product called Energy Care, Pilkington Energy Care Advantage, and that's got two coatings, one in position 2 inside the unit and one on position 4, which is inside the room. It's a common system in America. I'm sure Quanex, Edgetech know of these propositions in America. We're having awful difficulty in trying to bring that into the UK. Again, it's back to this thing, people are comfortable where they are, they don't like stepping out of their comfort zone, and the bog standard unit that's produced using coatings from all the major manufacturers is what's being taken up, and I would agree with Ian. There is a pull for it from the client base, but when they see the issues that might surround it, then they back off again. We are selling some, but not a lot.
From a fencer perspective, are we selling more A-rated windows now than we were this time last year?
Yes.
So
There's more A-rated being sold in the marketplace. So it goes into the two camps. Pure compliance, that's the minimum standard, or to differentiate the product, and so you put in the high end, either high spec double glazed unit or be going into triple glazed. So it's the two markets, either leading edge technology or pure compliance.
Well, you're seeing the A to C go more towards the A than the C.
No, you still got the C for the pure compliance.
No, but I understand the C, but are more
A's are being-
More A's are
Yes.
coming into the marketplace.
Yes.
More
A is becoming the norm, even though it's not the bare
Correct.
minimum.
Correct. More people are using that.
And A+ jars as well, isn't it?
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
And it's partly, from the systems perspective, we are marketing the second generation profiles and the third. The second generation being triple chambered, but with plastic thermal reinforcements, energy efficient reinforcements rather than steel. And of course, there's major thermal benefits, and even fixing screw, grip. So there's all sorts of reasons why that. Well, also we use recycled material, so from our point of view, it's good for green. But that's the second stage. The third stage is full multi-chambered frames that Patrick knows well.
Well, yes, obviously our system, when we standardised a couple of years ago, we only manufacture the 6-chambered linear product, the Energy Plus product, and that allows us to achieve the A+
Absolutely.
energy ratings with actually quite a modest glass specification. You're talking argon, a warm edge spacer. I can't mention which one in particular, but a particular warm edge spacer,
Yes.
and argon. That's getting you with low iron, and that's getting you an A+.
That's
And,
right. So
how much better does a consumer really want? For that extra cost. To illustrate this quite easily, you get a particular homeowner who wants the best, or something like that, or you've got a contract specification that requires a certain energy rating to be achieved. And the customer will come to you and say, right, I need to achieve this. I'm pretty sure I need triple glazing. And then you run your simulations, you look through your back catalogue you've got, and you go, actually, you don't need triple glazing. You can get away with it with double glazing, save yourself £2, and jobs are good, and everyone's happy. And that generally tends to be what happens. And I think, bring it all back to your original question, is this a back sell for smart double glazing? And yes, I think it really is.
Absolutely, yes. And with the triple chambered solutions, which we now have, all our 4 systems at Synseal now offer this. And the new customers tend to be attracted to that thinking, very energy efficient, but also with double glass, with argon fill, they don't necessarily need to use low iron glass. So that's a really significant commercial proposition. So it's a combination of the excellent double glass unit, in conjunction with the framing and the edge spacer. Of course, it's those 3 factors, isn't it, that will come together as part of the IGU. So like frame and glass, a cleverly made glass.
Yeah.
The frame is crucial, and I think we're leading that into the market with installers and fabricators. And obviously, Giles is right. There's many more A's now.
I'm intrigued a little bit, Patrick. Obviously, a 6-chambered system I'm guessing will be more expensive than a 4-chambered system. Yet a company like yours, which is classed as a super fabricator, that's a huge change, a huge leap of faith.
Well, yeah, I mean,
to see in the market, like you must see something in the market that's made you make that decision.
Well, sometimes you've got to just grab innovation by the balls, haven't you? I mean, to pardon my language, but everyone's, it's a bit of a cliche, but if Henry Ford went to his customer and said, "What do you want?" they'd have just said, "I want a faster horse." We've gone and saw that there's this product available. It's the right thing to do. You've got to give it to them. And I mean, we take the hit on that. We couldn't offer it for any. We didn't say, "Oh, by the way, you're going to have a 5% price increase." We just did it because it was the right thing to do, and it was going to allow our customers that commercial advantage when they go out to sell to those. So they've got our trade customers when they've got their installers coming. Our trade customers maybe sell 3 different profiles, perhaps. And the installation, small installation company, DIY man in a van comes in and says, I've got these choices. Well, that one's the most thermally efficient, and all of a sudden it's a really, really tangible USP that they can grab hold of, as opposed to maybe the other systems that one's very cheap or one's they've got their other options.
Very, very last question. Ian stated right at the outset that 4% of his business is triple glazing. If we're having the same conversation 3 years from now, in the opinion of this panel, what do we think? Tony first.
More.
A figure, please.
Where do I put that? I don't really want to pin a figure on it, Andy. I'd say we'd be closer to 5%.
So not much of an increase in 3 years.
Not a huge, if with business as usual. However, if the scenario came about that there was some form of driver, we think BFRC A++ is going to be a driver for triple. Eco Design label could well certainly be a driver for triple. And who knows what we're going to get from the regulators. As Giles said, we're lobbying very heavily with the 3 main ministries to drive this forward. So if we had a perfect storm, I guess maybe we could approach between 5 and 10%.
Okay. Mark?
I think our statistically proven 2%, just under 2, from profile and glass in volume, will possibly become 4%. But I don't think it'll be more than that.
Okay. Patrick?
Well, I would say that with housing stock's not going to change, so we're going to be stuck with we're going to be with a 70mm system for as long as it for the foreseeable. But I think on the flip side, you've got this A++, which has been announced and coming in October. And I think that is going to be the real driving force for triple glazing. So if I said we're probably at maybe 5% at the minute, I could see it probably getting close to 10%, perhaps.
Okay, that's quite a significant change. Ian?
Well, I think it will go up. I'm confident about that. I'm a bit more positive. I think it would be nearer the 10% mark, to be honest. But I don't think. I think the real thing about the table is that none of us have really know.
And it's just,
much of a clue, I was going to say, but that's a bit unfair to the panel. But I don't think we really know.
I think that we know some things. We know that the A++s are coming along. We have seen a slight change over the last 12 months, albeit very very minuscule. So it is moving, and I do believe that you're still going to have those leading companies or those larger companies who will continue to advertise triple glazing. So I think there's some things we know, but I don't disagree with your figure. I'm more in the 8 to 10% camp. Giles, finally?
Quite difficult for me to know because I don't sell on to it, but I mean I would have predicted, like, if we have a distribution curve, it would be between the 5 and 10% because it will be that unique part of the marketplace. Some people won't want it, other people will sort of see that as an opportunity. I think the key thing is it's a different product, and I think that's what a lot of the discussions over the last 12 months have been, is a different product, it's a different option. And yeah, that will stimulate selling triple glazing, and it will also help stimulate selling double glazing, which is all good news to the marketplace.
Okay, well, with that, I think I'll bring it to an end. Thank you very much to the panel. Thank you very much to MyTradeTV for giving us this opportunity to discuss this. And with that, we'll sign off.